Hello, friends. Welcome. Very sorry for the slight delay. It's been a very interesting day in the markets, as I'm sure you will all agree. So, today we are going to be at yet another episode of Fund Manager Fridays with 5paisa.com. I'm Deepika Asthana, your host for the evening. So, we all know the markets closed above 60,000 today, and they have been rallying relentlessly for the last 18 months. लेकिन क्या आपको पता है मार्केट रैली के आने वाले समय के क्या ट्रिगर्स हो सकते हैं? Joining us today to discuss factors driving the current market rally and triggers for a further upswing is Mr. Vikas Khemani, founder Carnelian Asset Advisors Private Limited. Having spent around 23 years in the capital markets, I can personally say that there are very few people in the industry who understand the pulse of equity markets as well as Vikas. Vikas, welcome and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Deepika, for having me, and it's a pleasure to chat with you.
Perfect. So I think let's just get to it since we also lost a little bit of time. So recently, I think sabhi ko pata hai ki there's been a lot of noise around ki what is driving the markets. Majority, a lot of people are saying it's liquidity. But what's your view on this? Is it only liquidity, or are there also a lot of other factors which are currently at play?
I think see, बिना liquidity के तो कुछ होता नहीं है, तो nothing happens without liquidity. But that's not the only reason, or that's not the there are a lot of more important reasons why
Sure.
markets are doing well. If you
Mm-hmm.
ask me, post pandemic, before pandemic, Indian economy was recovering very well, but
Mm-hmm.
pandemic ended up giving few more triggers to Indian economy in terms of acceleration of the growth. So
Yeah.
because of that, I think the future of Indian equity, corporate earning, economic recovery looks very, very bright. So it is
Mm-hmm.
the confidence on of the recovery of the economic growth, corporate earnings, which is far, far higher. And it is broad based. First time you are seeing a very broad based earning recovery. It is doing very well across manufacturing, IT, banking sector, real estate.
Mm-hmm.
First time we are seeing a very broad based kind of economic recovery environment, and that outlook is pretty solid. And मुझे
Mm-hmm.
लगता है कि I think this is one of the best period India is going through, and I see it's very structural in
Mm-hmm.
nature. One of the very few times I have seen in my career where so many things are coming together, in terms of contributing to the to
Mm-hmm.
the to the Indian economic growth and revival. So I'm quite
Uh,
positive.
Perfect. So Vikas, I think thoda if we can just get into it. So what आपने बोला कि it's a very broad-based growth, right? So pandemic was what it was. What is it that now suddenly this growth has become so broad-based? Where is all of this growth coming from? Are people buying? Is there a lot of financing happening where businesses can grow? How is this? How do we, as retail investors, believe in the long-term story of this growth?
Very good question. So if you see, before pandemic, India was, we had 4 or 5 years every year, some setback was there, GST,
Hmm.
demon, ILFS crisis, IBC era. So we had, but they
Correct.
were also years where we were building foundation stones. So before pandemic, India
Mhm.
was set to grow.
Mhm.
After pandemic, we got two big triggers, which is, uh, which did not exist as much as it is today, in terms
Okay.
of acceleration in the growth of IT services. Earlier, IT services was a very slow growth sector. Now
Mhm.
IT services is a super growth sector. It means it will create that much job creation in the economy. Earlier, so we export a lot of IT exports and services, right? So about $165 billion of exports we do.
Mhm.
Now that is set to grow. Just to give you context, that is set
Mhm.
to grow to 250 to $300 billion in 5 years.
Okay.
In IT services, 50 to 60% of the revenue is spent on salaries. It means
Mhm.
about 35 to $40 billion will be spent on salaries annually over next 5 years in India. To
Mhm.
contextualize this number, this is Manrega, which was considered as a very big demand driver in 2009, is
Correct.
was only was $10 billion. So this is 3 to 4 times the size of Manrega,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
this kind of job creation will happen, and when job creation happens, you see always the multiplier or amplifying effect happening on everything around that, right?
Correct.
Same
Right.
thing is
Mhm.
happening in case of manufacturing. Before
Mhm.
pandemic, manufacturing was not so great focus, but now manufacturing is a very big focus because of a import substitution. Government of
Mhm.
India wants to reduce import dependence through
Right.
self-reliant India. They have done
Mhm.
PLI, they have done a lot of things. Secondly, a lot of global companies are outsourcing that moving away their outsourcing from China to elsewhere. India is being a
Mhm.
large beneficiary of that. So because of
Right.
that, the demand environment of manufacturing in India has suddenly changed. Now,
Okay.
if you were to contextualize this again, how
Mhm.
large it is,
Mhm. Mhm.
so in manufacturing GDP will go to 500 from $450 billion to $1 trillion in 5 years, which
Wow.
means
Okay. Mhm.
$500 billion of revenue. If we assume 10% spent on the salaries, another $50 billion will come as a salary. So if you
Mhm.
look at between IT and manufacturing put together will be
Mhm.
between 8 to 10 times of Manrega, which was in 2009. Now,
Wow.
so
Okay.
this kind of multiplier impact when you see
Mhm.
becomes very huge.
Mhm.
So and this multiplier effect impact has never been in so. And if you just combine this along with
Mhm.
you have a banking sector which is far more consolidated, well capitalized, ready to grow. You have a real
Right.
estate
Mhm.
sector which has come out of a 10 years down cycle, and this
Mhm.
job creation also creating the demand. In real estate, again, when you grow, you create demand for steel, cement, consumer durables, and everything else.
Correct.
It is again a
Mhm.
multiplier impact. You
Correct.
have
Correct.
government which is spending massively on infrastructure across the
Mhm.
board, railways, road, ports, urban infra, everywhere. I think they're
Mhm.
spending massive amount of money, right?
Sure. Correct.
So when you look at all these things, when so much of the growth is coming in every sector, you know,
Mhm.
except today, travel and tourism, I don't know any other sector which is not doing well.
Right.
And that also will pick up, as
Mhm.
the sort of unlock happens.
Mhm.
So I feel that this is one of those time, and India's mindset has changed, India's structure has changed, India's growth
Mhm.
drivers have kind of changed significantly. So next
Mhm.
5 to 7 years, and these are the trends which are not going to be here only for a couple of years. They are going to be
Mhm.
here for next 5 to 7 years. So whenever such structural changes happens, you see massive or immense amount of wealth creation happening. And I see India will definitely $5 to $7 trillion market cap in next 5 6 years. I don't have any doubt in my mind. So this 60,000 sensex and all are only just milestones.
Perfect. I think you make a very compelling case, and I think from whatever you just said, my key takeaway is कि ये overnight success नहीं है. It's been happening for a while. The foundation is being laid, and now there are post-pandemic various external and internal factors which are acting as triggers for the way the market is currently moving, and not just the market. Market is reflecting the economy, and you expect that to be far stronger, structurally stronger over the next maybe decade.
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Superb. So I think, because a lot of our viewers right now also want to understand a little bit about the triggers for the market. I mean, the rally has made wealth for a lot of people, but अभी आगे जाके at 60,000 क्या होगा? If we want to, start investing today, what are the triggers that we should watch out for? What are the things that we should be careful about?
So the only thing I would say that, for an investor, don't worry about anything. Keep investing your surpluses. India will deliver. India will give returns. If you're a trader, I don't have any much advice. You got to watch out a lot of factors. Every day things change,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
they will keep changing. But for investors, don't worry. Most of the time people are waiting for the correction, especially after sharp rally. And I
Mhm.
know that so many people are waiting for corrections from 12,000, 13,000, 14,000 of Nifty.
Correct.
But
Mhm.
it's a futile exercise, because you will build conviction from long term. So what happens if it comes down in the shorter term?
Mhm.
only
Mhm.
only time you should worry if you're leveraged or you're a short term player. If you're a long term
Correct.
player, it doesn't matter. From here to journey is 5x. So if journey is
Mhm.
5x, in between, if it goes from 1 to 0.8x or 0.7x, should not matter. uh, you know
Mhm.
because so my suggestion is, generally there are lots of triggers as the earning corporate earning starts picking up.
Mhm.
You will see more and more acceleration happening. Some of the
Sure.
sectors which are right now, this manufacturing theme is only picking up, but you will see
Mhm.
over the next 5 years so many new dimensions will open up, so which we
Mhm.
can't even think of today. So
Right. Mhm.
earnings growth can surprise us big time. So, I think, remaining investor without worrying about upside, downside is right now at this in high quality businesses, high quality companies should be the mantra.
Perfect. थोड़ा Vikas, do you think we can touch upon sectors that you feel would be strong places where investors can participate?
Yes, of course. Frankly speaking, I'm not negative on most. I'm positive on most sectors. So, but
By the
if I
market.
were to say some theme, and genuinely, I'm saying because of the kind of
Mhm.
reasons I articulated.
Mhm. Mhm.
Today you can't find many reasons, to be negative on any sector. But I think, if you ask me, technology and manufacturing is something we've been bullish for last 1 year. We continue
Mhm.
to remain very, very, very positive because these are the two sort of segments which will do with a 5 to 10 year theme, and massive
Mhm.
amount of value will get created from here as well.
Okay.
uh, Banking and financial services, which has been kind of consolidated for last 1.5 years because of worries on the NPA related to lockdown.
Right.
Before that, corporate
Mhm.
NPAs. I think worst is behind. As kind of things progress, you will see the next 1.5 years. Banking and financial services will do very well.
Mhm.
Consumer durable or consumer discretionary.
Mhm.
Again, because as the per capita income of India goes up, people will spend money. As they
Right.
spend money, premiumization will play. Good
Mhm.
quality players will do well. So I think that's again a very large theme we can one can play. uh, and I think lastly probably I would say real estate is another. I now put it in a consumer durable theme only because the
Okay.
consumer situation you need to put
Sure.
invest,
Mhm.
you need a house. So I think
Mhm.
there also you will see a lot more interesting development happening, and the sector is by and large regulated, getting better, consolidated. So you will see, I think it also coming out well. So these are some of the three four theme sectors you can play,
Mhm.
in my opinion.
Perfect. So I'll just actually recap that for like all of our viewers who are very interested in the sectors. So basically, I think Vikas, while he is mostly positive on all sectors, I think within that few sectors that you highlighted was one IT, banking and financial services, consumer durables, and real estate, which to a certain degree is a consumer sector because roti kapda makan, आपको मकान तो चाहिए ही. So it should see some amount of demand coming forward. Perfect. So I think taking this a little bit forward, Vikas, we've discussed a lot of internal factors and triggers for the upswing, right? But there are also a host of external factors at play. For example, the Fed tapering or all of these crises currently brewing in China. So what's your opinion on these, especially from the point of view of their impact on Indian markets?
So I think, see, China is a pretty close economy in that sense from a
Mhm.
financial interlinkages perspective.
Okay.
Of course, one can't say that there's no linkages, but
Mhm.
you know, the financial interlinkages are very limited, especially from the credit space perspective. I think the external borrowing of China from global is about, I think, less than 10%. So
Okay.
it is the inter. I mean, a lot of questions can be raised around the internal health of the financial sector of the
Mhm.
country. But the good part is that China probably is net lender to the world because they are sitting on a very large amount of forex reserves.
Correct.
So to that extent, I would believe that it's less sort of risk or less prone to any kind of global disaster.
Okay.
Only from if there was a one or two player or large corporate default happens.
Mhm.
Uh, in fact, for India's perspective, it could only be any kind of chaos, whether financially or otherwise, in China, could only help India
Okay.
from the perspective of lot of. I mean, we've been hearing the power crisis which is happening there.
Mhm. Right.
So all those disruptions are helping India because the shift of manufacturing, which is expected to happen, can only get accelerated. And mind you, manufacturing shifts don't happen for 1 or 2 years. It happens
Mhm.
they are decadal shifts. Like China took
Mhm.
30 years to build this kind of manufacturing prowess.
Correct. Mhm.
India also will. So India's cost gets sort of a little bit more flip, a little bit more sort of positive. So to that extent,
Mhm.
I feel very good about whatever is happening. I think it is kind of in some sense sort of helping India's cause. And
Mhm.
today, India is also less dependent on foreign capital. If you see
Mhm. Right.
our current account surplus, I mean deficit
Mhm.
has gone down. We are now current account surplus country.
Correct.
And if what I talked about in terms of IT services and impact on manufacturing, both of them will have only impact on current accounts. So our current account is expected to become positive significantly in next couple of years. So that
Mhm.
can only, it means that we are no more dependent on foreign capital in a big
Correct.
way from our
Mhm.
sustenance. So to that extent, we are a lot more better placed than we were historically, let's say in 2013-14, when even the
Mhm.
Fed taper tantrum happened, we were kind of
Mhm.
majorly impacted. This time
Mhm.
around, probably that impact might not happen, given the fact that we
Mhm.
are far more better placed on our external account.
Okay, understood. So I think from a China perspective, जितना मुझे समझ में आया, what you're saying is कि um, a lot of the developments in China might not have a large impact, and to the contrary, could have a positive impact for Indian markets and the Indian economy. And otherwise, because we're not as reliant on external funding as we historically have been, global events like even the Fed tapering and everything around along those lines might not impact us again as much as historically. So we are basically stronger today than maybe ever before. Can we say that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no. I've never seen India's, sort of situation of external account like this before ever. So, to maybe briefly in 2003, four, but not before ever.
Perfect, perfect. So let's also talk a little bit about the upcoming IPOs. There's a lot of chatter around that. There's a lot of money in the system which is going towards these IPOs. What's your thought? Should retail investors go the IPO route? And of course, what looks good? You know the calendar, so what looks good as well?
80 to 90% of IPOs will be below IPO price in 6 months down the line,
Please note
according to
this.
me.
Okay,
Because I think there's lot of froth which is there in IPO.
okay.
The
Mhm,
pricing is happening very, very fine. On the top of it, because of the oversubscription, again the madness is going on. And
mhm,
by when I'm making this comment, I'm not making a comment that these companies are not good companies. There are some
mhm,
exceptionally good companies coming about,
mhm,
but I think in this the IPO frenzy is so high that
mhm,
the everything is priced so fine tuned. I mean,
mhm,
absolutely finely without leaving any space for any margin of safety.
mhm,
So I would say that be very choosy, be very careful. Just don't be part of this mad rush.
mhm.
I've been a banker as well. When this kind of rush happens, I know how the game works. So be careful. I think we are in a very very big frenzy as far as the IPO is concerned.
That's very interesting, right, Vikas? Because your view and advice on the markets is just go all in. But with the IPOs, you are telling our viewers to be a little cautious. And I think maybe your caution is stemming from basically the pricing. Maybe not so much the quality of the companies, but the pricing.
No, absolutely. Like I said, that there are some exceptionally good companies coming about. So I'm not even
Mhm,
making and IPOs are the good, great opportunity to get access to those companies. But good part is that once those companies get listed, you can still buy them, right? It's not that you have to be part of that frenzy. If when I have seen post this kind of frenzy, most of these companies, or all of those companies, will trade much lower than you know. And this movie I have seen many times before. So.
Interesting. Thank you. I think that is an interesting piece of advice. So Vikas, moving on from IPOs to agar holistically, I mean, we understand your views on the market, the triggers and the rallies. Uh, but any advice to our viewers in terms of how they should approach the markets and at this juncture what they should do? And also, of course, little bit. I know you don't look at trading levels, but some indication of where you're expecting the markets to move maybe over the next 6 to 12 months.
So I think let me make no sort of confusion. While I'm very very bullish on markets from a medium term to long term perspective
Mhm,
structurally, in
mhm.
shorter term markets can go any side. From
Sure.
all perspective, where I'm looking, of course, it looks little heavy, no doubt on
Mhm,
that.
mhm,
But markets in short term are function of so many things, specifically liquidity and whatever is happening. So they tend to surprise you. So I don't know how long it can get extended. But and I never looking at the market levels. I invest always looking at the companies and stocks and stuff like that. That to me is a lot more important. I think in these kind of times, the only thing I will say, it's very easy to get carried away and start relying on those tips. And everybody's a hero in those times. In this time, it is not about focusing on returns. It is the time to focus on risks and focus on that. What can I lose? How can I lose? And this is the time actually most investors are only focusing on return, because everybody is saying I made 10% return, I made 40% return, I bought it today and it has doubled in 6 months time. And those kinds of traps are very very, and I'm saying because I think your investors would be largely retail investor, hence I'm saying this is a very very sort of time where most retail investors are vulnerable, have left out feeling, sort of susceptible to these kind of traps, and hence ended up kind of losing money. So you have to invest money only after doing proper research in good quality companies. In bull market, the quality of the portfolio of every investor deteriorates, because you end up going into something which can go quick, and in bull market those ideas do well from a shorter term perspective. But money, you have to keep it जल्दी बनाना है कि ज्यादा बनाना है, राइट? एंड दैट्स अ वेरी, यू नो, सो इफ आपको ज्यादा बनाना है तो यू हैव टू बी पेशेंट एंड लॉन्ग टर्म, जल्दी बनाना है तो गुड लक, आई डोंट हैव एन आंसर. So ultimately in markets, you know, you have to kind of constantly sort of think about it, focus on jada banana, and hence do whatever right work, but don't fall prey to the tips and the WhatsApp messages and all the, you know, sort of news floating around.
Well said. I think if you're wise, I think you will choose for ज़्यादा rather than जल्दी. But you're right? अब जब market जा रहा है इतना ऊपर, everybody is making 30-40% returns. It's a little difficult to forget about the जल्दी ज़्यादा. You know, you want कि अभी पैसा बने, कब rally खत्म हो जाए. And I think from that perspective, what you said is that it's a long-term structural bet, and we must not think about कब rally खत्म हो जाए, but see how much money, like the risk in your investments, and then go ahead and focus on quality. And I think that is also something very interesting, because I was going through your website and there's a quote on your website which says that margin of safety does not necessarily lie only in price. It can be sought in detailed work, and this really struck me. And I have my own interpretation of this, but I would love if you could maybe elaborate a little bit and the wisdom behind these words.
I'm glad that you know read some of our website stuff. So we try to share some of the stuff which makes sense, or at least we believe in. So very often people tend to buy stocks because it is cheaper, or because everybody, especially these days, people who seek value, they always kind of tend to think that, oh, if it is sort of 10p or 5p, it's cheaper, or it is better, and hence it's more safer. But not necessarily they would be safer. But so if you are finding something expensive, let's say for whatever reason, there is reason why it is expensive. So if you explore that, if you kind of go into details of that, you might find a very insightful answer, and saying that then whether this growth is sustainable or not. So it came from the fact that we truly believe in growth investing, and many times when the companies are growing at a faster pace, they tend to trade expensive. So the choice is, one should trade at expensive, or a company which is sort of trading cheaper but don't have quality of that expensive stock. So we said, if I have to sort of go for growth investing, whether the only risk I have is that whether this stock will get derated or not. So if I do my detailed answer on whether that got stock, what will happen that can lead to derating of that stock? If I start, sort of doing that work and figuring out what are the risks and what are the possibilities, then I tend to sort of get a lot more comfort around even buying the stock which is otherwise not cheap, or otherwise, but can offer me superior return. So investing is all about, everybody seeks margin of safety, right? Like in the, if I were to talk in the margin market context, at 60,000, it looks expensive. Now should I invest or not? Like, let us take it away from stock to its market level. Now if for the reason, if you can convince yourself that India is going to become a $5 trillion economy through your work, and what can happen if let's say scenario A, scenario B happens, and if you can build your conviction, what is the likelihood of the scenario, let's say A, which is $5 trillion, or scenario B, which is, let's say, $4 trillion. So if you can build your conviction, or if you are getting an answer that yes, it can go to $5 trillion, and hence market cap can become $6 or $7 trillion, then a lot of money is to be made, and hence one should remain invested and not worry about intermittent sort of corrections. So, but that will require detailed work, that why it will go there, whether it will go or not, what are the risks around that. So same way happens in context of a stock, or same thing happens in case of a sector. So this basically means that everything, the markets are a big science, it's a big research. It's not just as simplistic as it's expensive, hence we should buy or not buy. It's never that. So it is always about detail. It's all about detailed understanding of a particular sector, stock, or the entire whole market for that matter.
Lovely. I think you hit the nail on the head, right? And it's very interesting that money is so important to all of us, but yet when it comes to investing our hard-earned money, we don't actually make this kind of effort, like you said, to go into the detail. कोई कुछ बोलता है and we are ready to invest our money. But I think that's very interesting, because I'll just maybe quickly summarize my key takeaways from this. I think we started off with the triggers for the current market rally, and as you mentioned, this has been in the works for a while. So India is expected to see a nice long-term structural upswing from an economy perspective, which is going to percolate into the stock markets as well. Going forward, again, instead of looking at the short term where markets can go up and down, over the long term, markets should move stronger simply because the economy is going to become a 5 or 6 or 7 trillion dollar economy. But I think that's a homework which everybody also needs to do on their own, understand the risks, understand where the markets are going in the short term and the long term, and invest accordingly. From an external factors perspective, um, a lot of changes are happening, but we are better positioned today to handle these and also maybe take advantage of some of these external triggers that could come our way. Um, do you have any last, few pieces of advice that you want our viewers to take home with them today?
No, I think I'm very, 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 very bullish on India. I think India is at an inflection point. India's mindset has changed. I think India is ready to grow. I think fortunately our political leadership is very, very strong, and they're also pushing in the right direction in terms of
Mhm.
resetting India. So take advantage of that. But you can take advantage only by, like I said earlier, detailed work and remaining invested for a long time. So keep be invested, don't trade, and stay safe.
Thank you very much for such a clear view. I think we will all benefit from that. And thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, viewers, for
Thank
joining
you for
us.
having me.
And thank you very much. And we will see everybody next week on next Fridays, Fund Manager Fridays. Thank you. Have a good weekend.